Hello and welcome to the Stats Report video for the Afterward Scrabble Tournament. We had a Scrabble Tournament that on the 25th and 26th of January 2025. It was hosted by the Cove Bar as usual. Great venue. This was the first Irish tournament to utilise the new word list, CSW24. Uru and Uru proved to be faves of our Scrabble fan, I have to say. There were 22 players, 2 of whom were brand new. They'd never played a tournament before in their lives. And there were a few others, around 3 others, who had never played a full weekend tournament before. It was an open format, there was a free challenge rule, and we had 14 games over the weekend. Right, so let's quickly look at the results first before we get to the stats. On screen you can see the results of round 1. Notably, in game 9, Mary had a great win over Teresa. On table 7, you saw Chris getting a powerful score of over 500 points. And on table 10, Darius had a very, very close game with Jer. Shane and Natalie are 2 brand new players. While they didn't win their first ever game, they were very, very close to winning it. Natalie on table 4 with a very small gap against Anne, and Shane on table 2 with a very close battle against Martin. After round 1, Brian took an early lead on the leaderboard, followed by Tom and Chris. Results of round 2 are now on screen. You can see that there was a game where Kieran had a good win over Jennifer on table 7. Also on table 3, Owen scored over 500 points in the game. On table 1 between Annette and Martin was very close, just 6 points in it. The standings after round 2, we can see Brian maintains his lead, followed by Pauline and Anne, with Tom in 4th place. Very good. Results of round 3 are now on screen. And you'll see that in game number 1, Brian got a really good win over Pauline. And Shane got his first ever win in a tournament game. A very close game down in table 11 between Lech and Liam. And after that round, Fergal had taken over as the tournament leader, with Brian in 2nd and Tom in 3rd. Round 4 results are now on screen. You'll notice that Natalie, our other new player, got her first ever tournament win against Shane down on table 10. Also on table 3, Anne Mallon got a great win over Pauline. Afterward regular Kane Farrell on table 11 got his biggest tournament win to date, winning with a score of 340 and a margin of 220 points. Very impressive. After that round, Fergal maintained his lead and Kieran and Anne filled out the podium. On to round 5, you can see the results on screen now. Notably, on table 4, Darius got a great win over Pauline, just 5 points in it. On table 5, Jer got a good win over Owen. Again, our newcomers, Natalie and Shane, both won their games in this round. Note on table 7, an exciting clash between Mary and Martin, where there's only 4 points in it. Martin nearly got a good win there. Okay, our leaderboard after round 5. Fergal tops, then Brian 2nd and Chris 3rd. On to round 6, the results are on screen now. A lot of upsets in round 6. Brian won against Chris on table 1. On table 5, Tom got a great win over Jennifer. Table 6, Mary winning against Pauline. And on table 7, Natalie's great win over Owen. Also notable in that round is the really close game on table 4 between Jer and Anne, just 9 points the gap. After round 6, we had Fergal maintaining first place on the leaderboard, Brian 2nd, Teresa 3rd. Round 7 results are on screen now. Teresa got an unexpected win over Fergal on table 1. Jer got a great win over Brian on table 2. After that particular round, Fergal, Teresa and Brian were our top 3. Round 8 results. Brian's win over Teresa, very nice. Jennifer got a great win over Darius. On table 7, Natalie got another strong win with a score close to 500. A very close game on table 1 between Fergal and Tom. Less than 20 points in it, 17 points. Table 3, there was another scintillating battle between Chris and Mary, where Chris barely squeaked out the victory. After that particular round, the standings table looked like this. You can see Fergal, Brian and Chris leading the fray. On to round 9. Some notable games being the one on table 3, where Chris and Jennifer were separated by just 1 point, nothing in that. And also on table 5, Mary Doyle got a very impressive 512 point score. After that particular round, there's the leaderboard. Fergal's still heading it up. There are the results on screen now. You'll notice some exciting games like the one on table 3 where Jennifer beat Brian by just a couple of points. Table 8 where Tony overcame Martin unexpectedly. Table 9 and 10 as well. Kieran got a lovely 512 point score, and Natalie got another score over 400. The standings after that round, we had Fergal in first place, Chris second, and Teresa third. Results of round 11. You will notice an upset here on table 5, and got a great win over Marie. Other games of note, the really close battle on table 1 between Fergal and Jennifer. Fergal was lucky to survive that one. Also, Teresa and Tom had a very close game on table 2. On table 9, there was just 2 points separating Jer and Annette, I'm telling you. What a game. After those rounds, you had Fergal leading the board, followed by Chris and Teresa, so it was a perfect 1, 2, 3 at the top of the table. Round 12 results are on screen now. You can see some notable games here, where the one on table 4 was an upset where Kieran beat Brian by a good margin actually. The game on table 1 was interesting as well. Fergal and Anne had a very tight battle. Again, everything is to seed. You have Fergal, Chris and Teresa. Round 13, the second last round of the thingy-majig, and notably here, Mary had a cracking win over Marie on table 2. Brian scored over 500 points in his game against Shane on table 8. Another brilliant win, I think the highest score of the entire event. Natalie got 557 against Lek on table 11. You can see a really close game on table 4 between Owen and Teresa, where there's just 4 points separating them. The standings going into the final round, we had Fergal, Chris, Teresa, and so on, all the way down to Lek in 22nd place. We went to King of the Hill for this, where 1 played 2, 3 played 4, 5 played 6, and so on, all the way down to get the final placings. So this tournament could be won by either Fergal or Chris at this stage. Alright, now these are the final set of results. You'll notice some interesting ones. On table 3, Kieran got the win by 10 points over Jennifer. On table 4, Tom got a great win over Brian. And on table 6, another one overturning the seating. Another great win for Anne actually, and 526 points to boot. Excellent play. Then on game 10, Shane got a final win of the weekend over Liam. On table 2, you'll notice a very high scoring game between Teresa and Mary. Teresa nearly breaking the 500 barrier. Now the final standings for the result, and our winner is Fergal Weatherhead, with Teresa in second, Chris in third. A great tournament by Kieran, Tom and Mary and Jennifer, all doing better than their seeding would have predicted. Great newcomer performance from Natalie in 13th place. Okay, so there we go. Now let's look at the stats in more detail, because everyone loves a good stats report. I know I do anyway. The first stat to look at is our low wins. The lowest win here, Liam scored 244 against Lek, Liam 277 against Annette, Tony 283 against Liam, and so on. Next are our high spreads. So the highest spread was in round 13, where Natalie bet Lek with a spread of 435 points. Second place, Kieran's win over Lek, 340. And then third place, Brian's win over Liam, which was a gap of 294 points. So some very big wins on this list here. There they all are. Our next stat are average opponent scores, whatever this means. Leading the board was Annette with an average opponent score of 332, Anne with an average opponent score of 334, then Natalie, Teresa, Tony, and so on. Next statistic, and this is a great way of measuring who has good word knowledge, who's good at spotting bingos. Average scores. Fergal's average score for the tournament was 431. Then comes Chris with 410. Third place, Owen with 403, which is odd because he finished 12th. And then Teresa with 402, Tom with 394, and so on and so forth. Highest winning scores. So you can see in this table, the best score of the weekend was Natalie's 557, then Chris's 533, Owen's 526, Anne's 526, and then 512s for Mary and Kieran. Interestingly, Kieran scored 512 and was at the receiving end of Mary's 512. Next stat is the highest losing scores. So these are games that were very competitive, very hotly contested. Topping that list is Chris's loss to Brian on 428, then Tom's loss to Fergal on 423, followed by Jennifer's loss to Fergal on 413. Highest combined scores. So the highest combined score of the weekend was a whopping 886 points in Tom's game with Jennifer. Next on the list is Kieran's game with Mary. Then we have Marie's game with Chris, and so on. Then we have our low spreads. So these are the tightest games of the weekend. And number 1 was that really tight clash between Chris and Jennifer, just 1 point in it. Then in second place, Jaren and Annette, spread of 2. Then Mary and Martin, and Teresa and Owen, spread of 4. Rounding out the top 5, Darius and Pauline, spread of 5. And Jennifer and Brian, spread of 5 as well. Here are more of the low spreads. All the ones that had spreads lower than 25, you can see on screen right now. The rockiest road, so the players that faced the toughest run of games, Brian played against the person who finished first and second and third and fourth and fifth, and the person who finished fifth a second time and sixth and so on. So the average opponent rank for him was 8.43. Then Jennifer had the next toughest route, followed by Pauline. Our next stat, the David versus Goliath. So the David versus Goliath, that goes to Anne's win against Pauline, a ratings point difference of 49 points. In second place was Anne beating Marie twice, 32 point gap. And then was Teresa's win against Fergal in fourth place, and Mary's win against Teresa in fifth place. Other ratings that don't qualify for the ratings upset because they're by unrated players, the best one there was Natalie's win against Owen, gap of 112 rating points. Then there was Natalie's win against Martin, Natalie's win against Kane, then Shane's wins over Tony and Annette. Overachievers. So Kieran wins this because he was seed 13, but he finished in position 4, which is a rise of 9 places over the expectations. Then Natalie's finish of 13th and Tom's finish of 5th, given that he was seeded 12th. Our next stat is the lucky stiffs. So these are people who managed to get very, very lucky in tight games. Like Chris, for example, she leads that table. Some of her tightest wins were margins of 1, 7, 9 and 39. Then Mary with margins of 4, 13 and 23. The opposite of that is the tough luck table, where they're on the wrong side of those small margins. So Annette, she faced losses of just 2 points, 6 points, 14 points, 20 points. Then Owen with his losses of 4, 21, 39 and so on. Okay, then we're on to the prize giving ceremony. There were many prizes given out in this. First, we had the mystery number, which was 261, and the reason we picked 261 was because the tournament finished on the 26th of the 1st. In game number 7, Darius scored 262 in his game, so he won the mystery number prize. Then we had the C ratings prizes. We gave the third prize to 4th in C, and that went to Shane Heelan. Third in C was Kane Farrell, and the C ratings prize went to Tony, who finished second in C. Next, we had the high word. The high word was given to Owen Jackson for getting 121 points for the word costive against Mary. Then the B ratings prize, third in B, was Mary Doyle, who came 6th overall, and she won 9 games with a spread of 390. Second in B was Tom Drone, who finished 5th overall, winning 9 games with a spread of 589. And the B ratings winner was Kieran Brosnan, who came 4th overall, won 9 of his 14 games with a spread of 640. Our next prize was the David versus Goliath prize, and that one went to Anne Mallon for her win against Pauline. Our next prize was Super Newbie. This was to the highest placed of our 5 players who had never played a full weekend tournament before, and this went to Natalie Bottrell. She won 7 out of her 14 games and had a spread of 566. Before we gave the main prizes, we had to give a special thank you to our tournament director, Michelle Jackson, who helped the event run seamlessly. A note to our host, Tom Drone, who was very generous with the teas and the coffee and the venue, as always, so that was much appreciated. So, on to the main prizes. In third place, Chris Broderick with 11 wins out of 14 and a spread of 707. Second place, Teresa Scallon with 11 wins and a spread of 874. And the champion, once again at the Afterward Scrabble Tournament in Waterford, was Fergal Weatherhead with 13 wins out of 14 and a spread of 1101. So that's it. That's how things went at the Afterward Scrabble Tournament, January 2025. A brilliant weekend, very enjoyable stuff. If you want to come along and experience some of this fun for yourself, the Afterward Scrabble Club is going to meet every second Thursday of the month, and it takes place upstairs in the Cove Bar, Dummer Road, Waterford, from 7:30 until 10 o'clock. The next tournament is coming very soon. It's down in Cork in the Address Hotel on the weekend of March 22nd and 23rd. A few other dates for your diary. We will have a one-day tournament in the Cove Bar on Saturday 24th of May, so hopefully you will be able to sign up for that. Also coming up in Dublin, in DCU, the Summer Solstice Tournament on the 21st and 22nd of June. There will be a Waterford tournament. The date isn't decided yet, but it should be in late September or early October in Julie's Hotel. Finally, the last tournament of the year will be the Curracloe tournament in November sometime in Hotel Curracloe. So loads of Scrabbling to look forward to. I hope I will see you there.